Chapter 1911 10 Days in the Sky. The Sphinx rushed towards Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin, and the entire desert was filled with yellow sand due to the strong wind. Yang Xinxin stepped forward and said, "Leave this target to me." The huge target was very suitable for her to deal with. She only needed to shoot an arrow with her fallen angel puppet, and the Sphinx would turn against her and become her slave. She stretched out her hands, and a large amount of black smoke spread out under her feet, then rushed into the sky and turned into turbulent clouds. A broken angel descended from the sky, holding the bow of judgment and the arrow of judgment. He opened his arms, drew the black longbow to its full extent, and aimed at the Sphinx in front of him. As the heat wave hit, the desert seemed to be burning, and a large amount of ground had melted into a transparent liquid. The galloping beast opened its huge mouth and wanted to bite off the two people in front of it. And the fallen angel puppet also shot out the arrow that symbolizes domination over all things. Whoosh! The black arrow broke through the air, and even the blazing fire could not stop it. Without any hindrance, it shot into the body of the Sphinx. The huge beast suddenly stopped in midair. "It has become mine," Yang Xinxin said coldly. She raised her right hand, with her palms slightly bent. Invisibly, an invisible black line called cause and effect had linked her and the Sphinx together. But just when she gave the order for the Sphinx to attack Kenshan on top of the pyramid, the huge Sphinx suddenly turned into a heat wave in front of her and Zhang Yi and disappeared without a trace. Yang Xinxin put down her right hand and said calmly, "It's not a real substance, but an energy body. Is it a summoned guardian spirit or something like that?" Above the sun disk, Kenshan still looked down with a calm expression. "Oh, little girl, your ability is very powerful. It seems that you can control everything that the arrow hits. But unfortunately, my guardian beast can allow my will to condense or disintegrate. So, your ability seems to have no effect on me." A mocking look emerged at the corners of his mouth. He still sat on the towering pyramid. He did not take the initiative to attack. Instead, he seemed to be waiting for the two challengers in front of him to continue to attack. "I haven't met an opponent for a long time. You seem to be very strong, and I have never heard of people like you. I think you are either the hidden masters of the Holy See or the helpers they deliberately found from foreign lands. It's a pity that from the first moment you set foot on this land, your ending is destined to be failure." Kenshan's tone was very flat, as if he was commenting on the meal made by Zhang Yi. "Oh no, strictly speaking, that wasn't done by Zhang Yi either." Zhang Yi smiled. "You seem very confident in your abilities?" "Oh no. To be exact, you are very confident in the power of faith that you possess? But I am also sorry to tell you, you are not the first opponent with the power of faith that I have faced." Beside Kenshan, the yellow sand under the ground surged up in large quantities and then condensed into a new Sphinx next to the pyramid. "No, perhaps Anubis would be more appropriate," Yang Xinxin said. "He is deliberately trying to make me take action. The pyramid doesn't look like it will move. Its structure is not made of yellow sand or energy, but is actually built of huge stones. The spear of Longinus is either in the pyramid or in the sun disk above. The third possibility is somewhere underground. He saw my ability, but didn't take any precautions, which means my ability is useless to him." Yang Xinxin turned her face slightly and said to Zhang Yi, "Brother, my ability will not be used in a short time. You create the opportunity, and it's best to attack his body directly." As she spoke, she looked at Kenshan on the sun disk. "But how can we be sure that is his true body?" Zhang Yi said in a deep voice. "He has abandoned his physical body and become a spirit-like existence. The spirit must have something to rely on, so he should also rely on the spear of Longinus to realize such life attributes. Will it be useful to just attack his spirit?" "Yes," Yang Xinxin said very confidently. "It would be better to directly attack the spirit that condenses his thoughts, which will be more effective." Zhang Yi nodded. "Then I'm relieved." Kenshan frowned. "Aren't you going to continue? Then let me do it." He raised his right hand, and the golden sun disk suddenly burst out with brilliant light. The bright and dazzling sun disk became illusory under the sky, and shadows appeared one after another. Those shadows were very large and round, connecting with the main body of the sun disk in a straight line in midair. They gradually brightened with the sun disk as the center. The flames were burning, and they became larger and brighter than the sun disk, like a series of suns hanging high in the center of the sky. 10 suns in the sky. General Sean murmured in a low voice. 10 huge suns are suspended in the sky of this world. Whoosh! In the desert near Zhangyi, a raging fire suddenly broke out due to overheating. Wildfires spread across the entire desert, and the heat wave distorted the light in the air, making it impossible to tell whether it was the color of the yellow sand or the color of the flames. The sun was scorching the earth with such power that it could instantly evaporate the water of all living things within a radius of hundreds of kilometers and turn them into corpses. But Ken Shan's eyes widened slightly because he saw an incredible scene. In the desert, the two men did not move at all, and their bodies were not burned to charcoal by the sun. Oh! For the first time, a serious look appeared in his eyes. Senlua Wanxiang, in the human domain, has the second highest defense ability currently known. And number 1 also comes from Zhangyi, and its name is Escape into the Void. 10 suns stretched across the sky, bringing with them a visual pressure that was extremely intense, but they were unable to break through Zhangyi's defense at the moment. The sun that never sets? Huh. Zhang Yi hooked his finger at Ken Shan, who was sitting high on the pyramid. Is this the best you can do? You can't hurt me at all. Okay, I'll stand here and let you hit me. I want to see if you have the ability to break my defense. If you can't even break my defense, then I guess there's no need for us to continue fighting, right? There is an information gap between the two. Ken Shan of Cage Country, due to the lag in information, did not know about the chaos on the other side of the planet, so he did not know that among Zhang Yi's abilities, the most powerful one was defense. When experts fight, the one who strikes first is more likely to expose his flaws. Previously, Yang Xinxin was lured by Ken Shan with Anubis, exposing the ability of the fallen angel puppet, so she chose to stop temporarily and not continue to expose more information. Now, it was Zhang Yi who let the opponent attack first. The smile on General Ken Shan's face slowly disappeared. Are you looking for death? Then I'll give you this chance. He pointed his right hand in the direction of Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin. Wandering suns. 10 suns were suspended in the sky, like a balance with the sun disk as the fulcrum. At this moment, the scales suddenly turned into a big gun, aiming at Zhang Yi. And the sun at the front suddenly broke away from the scale and fell towards Zhang Yi. It was burning fiercely, and it was getting bigger and bigger as it fell. The pressure on Zhang Yi's dimensional gate is also becoming enormous. It's just as I imagined. The power level of this attack is equivalent to that of a high-level white bishop. However, Zhang Yi raised his palm to the sky. I seem to be able to withstand it. He clenched his palms tightly, as if controlling the golden sun in the sky. The dimensional gate is like a package that contains everything, drawing the hot, bright sun inside. Boom! The sun was falling, with bursts of roaring sounds. It was a violent solar storm. The dimensional gate was also shaking wildly, but it slowly sank into Zhang Yi's alien space without causing it to collapse. This process lasted for several seconds, and eventually the sun completely disappeared into space. The desert returned to silence. Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin were standing still and were not destroyed by Ken Shan. This time, Ken Shan finally showed a look of astonishment on his face. My attack, the wandering sun, was actually blocked by someone? Then his expression became calm. It seems that you are not an ordinary guy. You are very strong, even looking at the whole world. You are definitely a big shot. But it's a pity. He pointed at Zhang Yi, his eyes still showing that invincible domineering aura. What you resisted was just a random attack of mine. Then, can you withstand the next attack? After he finished speaking, Zhang Yi saw with his own eyes the location of the disappeared sun, ignited a small flame, and soon the flame turned into a huge sun with a boom. 10 suns floated in the sky, just like before. My power comes from the 20 million citizens of Cage Country. It's endless. Zhang Yi stretched his body. It looks like I need to dodge the next attack. Although I was able to block the first attack, I still have enough strength. But the opponent's source of power is almost endless. It will be difficult for me to kill him unless I kill 20 million citizens of Cage Country. But Zhang Yi stared at Kenshan above. That time, I killed your real body, and the damage to you is not small, right? Even if you pretended to be indifferent, but you brought me into this world in an instant, which means that your injury is not as insignificant as it seems. The Undertaker once recovered quickly after being injured, but later, the energy fluctuations left in his body also took time to smooth out. Shut up, Kenshan said coldly. He raised his hand, and this time 2 suns descended from the sky, one on the left and one on the right, crushing towards Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin. The sun was scorching the earth, just like the sun in reality was hitting the surface of the earth. The coverage area was so large that it was extremely difficult to avoid it. But the person in front of me is Zhang Yi. He could travel 4 kilometers in one space shuttle and avoid the core of the explosion of the wandering sun. The heat wave swept across the desert, melting it and turning it into a transparent, viscous liquid. Zhang Yi did not intend to continue to passively take the beating. Let me test his defense. If possible, we'd better use your arrow to shoot his spirit directly. Yang Xinxin nodded. The divine refining in Zhang Yi's hand condensed into a black gun in his left hand, with a large caliber and thick barrel, full of ancient violent aesthetics. And his right hand summoned the same red magic sword as Ichigo. Star Cannon. A terrifying black light spurted out from the muzzle of the gun from a long distance, making this golden world dim for a moment. The blazing sun in the sky was robbed of its brightness by the thick black light, like a black hole. Simple and unpretentious, without any frills, this is the simplest antimatter attack. More than 10 kilometers away, a shot penetrated the space between the two and hit the huge pyramid. A layer of mysterious ripples appeared on the surface of the pyramid, spreading out layer by layer, removing the power of the star cannon. However, this was an antimatter attack released by Zhang Yi, whose supernatural power index was as high as 35,000 points. Even this pyramid could not completely smooth out its energy, and fine cracks appeared on the walls visible to the naked eye. Oh! Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows. It turns out that it is not indestructible and can be broken. But soon, those fine cracks were repaired and became as smooth as a mirror. Yang Xinxin said, according to the current situation, unless Brother's attack can reach 20 times of what it is now, there is no way to completely penetrate this pyramid. Zhang Yi smiled and said, that would be too difficult, unless my ability index can soar to 50,000 points. Even if I take out all my trump cards, it's impossible. At this time, it was dark outside. A beam of golden light appeared from a small island in the middle of the lake in Pilasang City and rushed up into the sky. This beam of light rushed into the clouds and could be seen by many people in the entire Pilasang City and even the surrounding areas. For some unknown reason, many people woke up from their sleep and crawled to the window. They looked in the direction of Presun City, put their hands together and began to pray. May our great Marshal Kenshan be forever healthy and invincible, and protect the people of Cage like the sun that never sets in the sky. There was no shadow in the void, and gratitude was intertwined. The power of an individual is extremely weak. Their mental power cannot even create a breeze to move the pages of a book. But the beliefs of more than 20 million people, especially the many humans who have mutated in the end times, when concentrated together, become an incomparably powerful energy. At the moment when the pyramid was being repaired, in the outer city area of Pleasant, a man who was praying suddenly felt a little tired physically and mentally. He was startled by the sound of knocking on the wall in the next room. He quickly covered his mouth and lowered his voice to pray. His wife was doing business next door, and he couldn't disturb the guest's interest. Otherwise, without the 5 kilograms of millet, the family would not be able to make ends meet for the next few days. Kenshan was surprised by the power of Zhang Yi's attack, because this was the first time his sun pyramid had suffered damage since its construction. And the enemy before him is also the most powerful opponent he has ever faced in his life. He felt a little solemn in his heart, but he was not particularly afraid. Because he has the thickest shield wall in the world, the people of KG. I, Kenshan, am invincible. Kenshan attacked again, and several suns descended from the sky and shot towards Zhang Yi. The vast light enveloped the entire world, and the scorching flames turned the desert into a huge piece of glass. Zhang Yi did not resist head-on, but chose to dodge and absorb his attack with Sunluo Wanxiang. His power is almost infinite, and it is indeed difficult to kill him. Zhang Yi sighed. Yang Xinxin reminded Zhang Yi, "Brother, don't forget. 10,000 people survive, but only one person can escape. He is destined to be destroyed. Create a chance for me, and I will punish him." Okay. Zhang Yi used divine power to form a chain to connect Yang Xinxin to his body, so that she would not be separated from Zhang Yi and would always be under his protection. Zhang Yi raised the magic knife in his right hand, and when the wandering sun was about to fall towards him, he suddenly swept it out with the knife. The black light and shadow slammed heavily onto the two suns, triggering a terrifying energy storm. Marshal Shao's attack was repelled, and he opened the dimensional gate and passed through the core area of the energy storm. Then he began to move around the pyramid at an extremely fast speed. His speed is unimaginable, and his body's buffs are maxed out. Whether it's Zhou Kuter's physical transformation or the mobility granted to him by the demon god Mecha, plus his own infinite space acceleration, he has mobility that is no less than that of an enhanced mutant. So, he almost became a bolt of lightning and began to circle the pyramid in an arc, launching an attack. Marshal Shan frowned, but still sat on the sun disk and refused to move. The power of faith continued to flow into his body, so he didn't need to fight desperately with the opponent. No matter how powerful the opponent is, if he cannot instantly destroy the object to which his power of faith is attached, he will be exhausted to death. He just needs to fight. In the space, the sun fell, and the terrifying energy formed by the mental power of countless people in the Cage Kingdom was wantonly released by Marshal Shan and used to attack Zhang Yi. It was not very difficult for Zhang Yi to resist these attacks, but he would eventually be affected to a certain extent. If this trend continues, Zhang Yi will inevitably lose. But who is he? He is the world's #1 space-based ability user. What he is best at is fighting a war of attrition. His other dimensional space is like Doraemon's pocket, hiding too many treasures. The magic knife was swung, and the black blade light swept across, like a black moon in the sky, cutting down one huge sun after another. The energy storm swept across the entire desert, and this boundless world was filled with murderous aura. After fighting for dozens of moves, Zhang Yi felt that the time had come. Suddenly, a red energy crystal only the size of a thumb began to emit infinite light from his magic sword. The most advanced technology of mechanical civilization, the energy crystal core, began to burn. After Zhang Yi made an ordinary move with the sword, he raised the magic sword again, but this time, everything changed. It was no longer black void energy, but a gorgeous bright red, like blood, like the rich blood rising from a sea of corpses and blood. A blood-colored storm emerged on the blade of the magic knife, and its richness was like a gushing fountain of blood, dancing wildly around the blade. The knife slashed through the air, and the blood-red blade light cut through the vast desert and swept across the waist of the pyramid. The power released by the burning red energy crystal can instantly make Zhang Yi's attack reach the level of a black bishop. Even this huge pyramid will inevitably suffer heavy damage. Kenshan's expression turned solemn. Even though he possessed an almost infinite power of faith, destruction was always easier than reconstruction. If Zhang Yi really destroyed his foundation, he might be killed due to insufficient subsequent energy supply. People sought refuge from the gods, and the gods agreed. People offered grains and meat as sacrifices, and the gods bestowed fire and light. Greedy, tyrannical, and ignorant humans tried to rebel against the gods, So a monterey brought down eternal darkness. That day, the black sun came. Marshal Shaun raised his arms high, and the light of the 10 suns in the sky suddenly dimmed, including the majestic pyramid under him. The sky grew dim, and a black sphere condensed in his hands. The moment Zhang Yi slashed with his sword, the black sun exploded. The black light turned into mountains and waves, sweeping in all directions, like huge mountains, blocking the attack of the sword. The mountains and ridges were shattered one after another, and were annihilated by the blood-colored sword light. The collision of the two forces made Zhang Yi fly backwards. Sure enough, is it still difficult to break through from the front like this? Zhang Yi couldn't help but sigh. One force can break all laws. Yang Xinxin explained. Marshal Shaun, who is standing in his home court, has energy many times greater than yours. Even if he uses several times the energy to consume you, it will be difficult for you to break through his defense and kill him. Then what should we do? Zhang Yi smiled faintly. Even at this time, he was not too nervous. Perhaps it was because, from the beginning, he didn't think it would be easy to kill Ken Sane. Yang Xinxin said, the dark and gloomy haze can kill without a knife. 10,000 people are not killed, and only one person can escape. This shows that it is impossible to defeat him by force. Next, it depends on whether our partners outside can complete the instructions according to the plan. Zhang Yi nodded and turned the magic knife in his hand. I hope it's as you said. I am the promised person in this prophecy. General Shaun's sun reappeared in the sky, consuming the energy of the faith and thought power of the people of his country Cage. This is not an endless power. Excessive consumption will damage their lives because it is the source of life. But to Ken Shan, those lives were unimportant, just numbers. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.